Is Francis Ngannou going to beat Anthony Joshua? By the way, you make 3 times your money over at DraftKings if you think so. This video is brought to you by my partners, DraftKings Sportsbook. Combine multiple bets together from the same fight for an even bigger payout. Download the DraftKings app right now. Use promo code Sonnen. That's only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Now, I want you to answer that question. It's not rhetorical. I'm speaking nice and slowly to buy you a little bit of time. Is Francis Ngannou going to win the fight with Joshua? It's a 3-1 dog at DraftKings. Now, Dewey Cooper came out. Boy, Dewey Cooper's done a great job. What a great job he's done. So, Cooper did an interview talking about his guy, Francis Ngannou, said Francis is going to knock him out. That's a very common thing to hear when 2 guys are threatening to fight one another. From the first time you ever heard 2 guys threatening to fight each other, which would have been in school, on recess, one of them made that claim, I'm going to knock you out. You never heard somebody say, I'm going to push you up against the wall and hold you there till the teacher comes. Like, that never happened. Nobody said, I got more friends than you, and I'm going to grab you by the hair, and my other friend's going to grab you by the jacket sleeve. Like, you didn't hear these things. Somebody said, I'm going to knock you out. You want to know why it's relevant? Because Dewey Cooper isn't a street yard kid. He's a coach and a trainer of some of the most vicious combat athletes alive, and Dewey Cooper did not say that Francis Ngannou is going to beat Joshua. See, if he did, and you took that and you went to DraftKings, you could make 3 times your money. Cooper says he's going to knock him out. Now, that is a completely different type of bet. If you believe that Francis is going to win the fight, then the next question I'm going to ask you is how? And I don't think that you're bullish on the idea that he's going to win a decision. I don't think that. I think those of you that believe Francis is going to win the fight side with Cooper and believe that Francis is going to knock him out. Now you're talking about a much bigger payday, but I want to ask you something else. Does he have to? When Francis's coach, Dewey Cooper, comes out and says, my client, Francis Ngannou, is going to knock out Joshua, does Francis have to knock him out? Generally, the answer would be yes. It's very hard to believe that Francis, as big as he is, as inexperienced in that realm as he is, can go a decision and or win one. But to remind you, as big as he is, and regardless of his experience, his last 2 fights have both been world title fights, and his last 2 fights both went to a decision. One of them, the judges awarded him the victory. One of the judges awarded him the victory. So Francis is a little tougher than to just look at the numbers. Look, I was hearing an analysis. I believe that this was on Fighter and the Kid. I think this was Brendan and Callan were talking about this. But they brought in Ruiz. And they talked about how many times Ruiz knocked Anthony Joshua down. I think it was like 4 times. I watched that fight. It was comical how many times he went. Like, I couldn't believe they were letting him out. It was that many times. 3, 4, 5. It was something silly. But I haven't ever seen Francis knocked down. And I sure have seen him hit. I know that Ruiz can connect and connect very hard, but I don't believe that Ruiz hits harder than Tyson Fury, or at least not by a meaningful amount. Ruiz put those hands and did that damage and knocked down the pop-up doll so many times that I've lost track. I'm telling you, it was 3 or 4 or 5, and he did in a short period of time. Fury punched Francis in the face for 30 minutes and still never put him down. I think that it's meaningful. I think it's interesting, right? I really do. When Dewey Cooper says Francis Ngannou is going to knock him out, is Dewey Cooper also letting us in on something? Is he revealing to us that he has to knock him out? Mike Tyson had a wonderful expression. I ended up getting credit for it because I used it on the Joe Rogan program. So I've heard people say, well, Chael Sonnen once said. I appreciate it, but I got it from Mike Tyson. And all Mike said is, if you ever try to win by finish, if you ever try to knock a guy out, you will not win the decision. And it is a very important thing to keep in mind. Like, if you do come to the conclusion, I am not as good of a boxer as he is. Okay, great. What are we doing here? Well, I'm stronger than he is. Okay, great. What does that mean? Well, I can hit harder than he can. Not only can I hit harder than he can, he's actually susceptible to his left side where I do my best work. All I got to do is circle to the right. Let him throw his lead hand. I'm going to come right underneath to that lever. I mean, I'm just, for example, like you could build up a real head of steam and a real head of confidence if you saw something like that. If you found a path for yourself that you thought was a very realistic path. At the same time, you're fully aware I cannot push as hard as he can. I cannot move my feet, move my head, keep my combinations, keep my wit about me for as long as he can. And a combat athlete's biggest fear is not failure. His biggest fear is reaching exhaustion. The only thing an athlete is scared of in the back, they'll be at the press conference, they'll be face to face, and he's trying to get in his head, and you'll hear the announcers telling you all these different things, and who's got the pressure? Zero of it is true when those announcers say it. There is one thought that will go through Francis's head, and one thought that will go through Joshua's head. Just one. Am I in better shape than he is? Can I hold up at the pace should the worst scenario come, which is we reach the last and final round? Can I protect myself at all times, or will I reach an exhaustion to where I can't go on? That's it. If you ever hear an athlete tell you he's confident, if you ever believe it, if you ever look at an athlete going, wow, he seems really confident, that is the deduction that he has done in his head. I can go harder longer than that person. It might be because they worked extra hard themselves, or they got some inside scoop and that guy didn't. But all the confidence will come from, it's only that one thing. And there are times when you're trying to break down a fight in a worst case scenario, which is the end of the night comes, and you will very rationally come to the conclusion, no, I cannot hold up. I cannot push as long and as hard as he can. So what do you do then? The majority of Earth doesn't take the fight. But Francis is special. He's different. He's a champion. His mind is going to work different. And even though a worst case scenario of which he's going to walk himself into a fire and present himself with, which is to be in there longer with somebody who's done this for a lifetime and knows how to pace and can hold up, I'll still take the fight and I'll still plan to win because I can beat him, and here's how. But it involves finishing him. And I'm only wondering when Dewey Cooper, the man that trained the man that's got to go out there and do it, when Dewey Cooper comes out and says Francis is going to knock him out, is Dewey Cooper also telling us for victory, Francis has to knock him out? And it's very interesting, right? When I'm talking to you about DraftKings, sometimes you go over 3 times your money. You're all going to thank me. You heard about it from Chael, right? Isn't it worth the consideration of the risk to pick the specific way? Right? There's a lot of ways to win a fight. Disqualification, get you the same 3-1. Split decision, get the same 3-1. TKO, knockout, it all get you the same 3-1 unless you push the little button that says specifically. Now you can get extra crazy and you can call the round and do these other things. By the way, I'm not advising you to do any of those. What I'm doing is trying to collectively ask, because we know Dewey Cooper, don't we? See, the boxing community doesn't know him. They don't know how good he is. They don't know how determined he is. They don't know the story behind Dewey Cooper. They don't know all the greats, right? Like, the lights get really bright for some guys, including trainers, not Cooper. He has been there and he has done that and he has looked at this. And this is where he prefers to be. You guys know Dewey Cooper as the trainer of so many great mixed martial arts guys, but more specifically, he is training the stand-up elements of those mixed martial arts guys. This is right where he wants to be. This is right in his wheelhouse. He has assessed both of these athletes, and he has come out and not only said Francis is going to win, he said he's going to knock him out. Now, I'm here to ask you, if Cooper is right, is he revealing something to us in that if Francis wins, does he have to win by KO?